In the start of the film we are shown nighttime. Here a girl named Tess came to the city for a dream job. She rented a remote house in the run-down Brightmoor neighborhood of Detroit for herself, but she forgets the keys to that house. That's why she calls the company from which she rented this house and goes back in her car, so that the company can get her the keys. Then she feels that there is someone in that house. She comes back to the house and knocks on the door and starts looking from the window. There was a boy named Keith in that house who opens the door. Tess tells him that she has rented this house from an Airbnb company. But Keith tells Tess that he has also rented this house, meaning the company had rented this house to two people. It was raining a lot outside, so Keith tells Tess to come inside. Tess was also helpless, so she comes inside and starts checking the whole house, so that there is no problem here. Now Keith shows her his papers from the company from which he had rented the house. Tess tells him that this house is yours, you can stay here. I sit in my car and think something, but Keith says no, I will not like it at all. If you want, you can stay here tonight and start making tea for her. But Tess was also looking for a room for herself. Keith tells her that you can't find any room right now. You do one thing, stay here tonight. If you want, you can sleep in my room. I will sleep on the sofa here. Now when she goes to the room, she sees the purse of Keith from which she takes a picture of the ID card. Because if something goes wrong with her, she will have some proof. When she comes out after bathing, Keith was sitting with a bottle of alcohol for her. If you want, you can sit with me. Just like you didn't drink tea, don't drink it either. Because I know you don't trust me at all. Now Tess was slowly beginning to believe him. Tess sits with him and talks a little more. That she has come here for a job. And after talking for a while, she goes to sleep. After a while, Tess feels that someone has opened the door to her room. She gets scared and wakes up. She feels that Keith is not going to do anything to her. But when she sees him, he was sleeping. Now she wakes up Keith and asks him, "Didn't you do that? What are you saying?" "I was sleeping." Then we see that there was someone else in this house besides these two. Now Tess goes to sleep again. When she wakes up in the morning, she gets a paper written by Keith, in which he wrote that I am going out for work. We will meet in the evening. Tess also leaves for her interview. But when she comes out of this house and sees all the houses around were broken, means no one lived there except this house. And she finds this very strange. Then she goes to meet her boss. And her interview was also very good. Means now she got a job. When her boss asks her where she is living, then she tells about this town and house. Then boss says that place is not good at all. You get out from there quickly. When Tess comes home again after giving her interview. So now she herself was scared of this place. When she was about to going inside the house, then a homeless man comes there. That homeless man was stopping her from going to this house. But Tess gets scared and comes inside. That homeless man was telling her that listen to me. Come outside. She gets very scared and calls the police. She decides to leave the house. Packs all her things. Then after some time when she gets a little better, then she goes to the washroom. There was no tissue there. When she goes to the basement to get the tissue, then the door there was closed by itself. And her phone was also outside. Now she was looking for a way out of there. Then she sees a rope inside the wall. When she pulls it, then a door opens from there. Means there was another secret door here. She doesn't go inside. Obviously, she was scared. Because it was very dark there. After thinking a lot, she puts a mirror under the bulb, so that the light can go inside through her eyes. Now when she goes inside, then she gets another room inside. There was a bed, a camera, and a bucket, which was filled with blood. Seeing all this, she gets very worried. because there was a lot of weird stuff there. But now Keith also comes there. She tells him to open the basement by calling him from the window. Now when he comes and opens the basement door, Tess was very scared and starts leaving the house. But Keith says, "What is the matter? You can tell me everything." She tells him about the room there, about the bed and the camera there. He says it's the basement. "Okay, you wait. I'll check and come. But you wait for me here. Because if the basement door closes again, then both of us will be trapped. That's why you wait outside." Now he goes inside. But when Keith doesn't come back for a long time, Tess goes back to the basement to find him, and puts a chair on the door, so that the door doesn't close again. When she comes inside, then this time, she finds another way. Means there was another way inside the basement. She goes inside in fear. There she was hearing the voice of Keith, who was saying, "Please help me." When she goes and sees, Keith tells her, "There is someone else here, who has bitten me. We have to get out of here quickly." Suddenly a strange woman comes there, who was very scary, and hits that boy's head against the wall, and kills him. Sometime later, then we see the actor boy named AJ Gilbride in the story, who was going somewhere. He gets a call. AJ Gilbride learns he has been fired from his television series due to rape allegations made by a co-star. He was very worried. He goes to his manager, who tells him that, "You can't leave the city and go anywhere. Nor can you work in any film right now. Because that girl had filed a case against him." Now he gets tired of all this, and goes away to live in his house. Pressured to sell his assets to pay for legal costs, AJ travels to a rental property he owns in Detroit, the same house that Tess and Keith rented. When he sees their stuff, then he calls the company, and asks, "Did you give my house to someone to live in?" He says yes. "A few days ago we gave this house on rent." He says this and turns off the phone. This was very strange. The owner of this house didn't know that his house is on rent. After turning off the phone, he looks at the basement door, in front of which there was a chair, which Tess had kept. He removes it and closes the door. At night when he was very drunk, he says sorry to that girl, who had filed a case against him, and then goes to sleep. In the morning he sees Tess and Keith's stuff. Now he was thinking that maybe there is something in the basement. When he goes to the basement door, then he feels someone walking. He gets scared, and then with a knife and torch, goes inside the basement, where he sees the same mirror, which Tess had put there, that room too, where the camera and bed were. He is very happy to see all this. And after coming out, he starts measuring the length and width of this house, and thinks, there is such a big basement in this house. I can sell this house for a lot of money. And then after going back, he starts measuring the length and width of that room. He finds that way, which Tess had seen. Seeing which he is even more happy. Where the cages were also kept. When he goes further, there he sees another room, in which there was a show on TV. How to keep small children. Then he sees something coming towards him. This was the same woman who had killed Keith. And now she also puts him inside, in a secret pit, where Tess takes care of him. Yes, Tess was still alive, and was present in this basement. Now we know about the old story of this house. Why was all this happening? The real owner of this house, his name was Frank. Now he buys some things for baby delivery. After which he follows a lady, and goes to her house, saying that he is a plumber. He goes to that lady's house, and opens her windows. After which he comes back to his house. Then his neighbor tells him that I am leaving this house. Frank says, you go. I will never go from here. When he opens the lock of the house, there were a lot of painful screams, which were coming from the basement. Now why was all this happening? What was Frank doing in the basement? We will know this in the story. The story comes again in the present. We see Tess and that AJ were still in the secret pit. Tess says, don't be afraid of me. Take care of yourself. Then that woman gives AJ a bottle of milk and tells him to drink it. AJ doesn't do that. Tess says, listen to her and act like a child. Then you will be saved. But he doesn't do that, because Tess understood that if she does that, then she will be saved from this woman. But AJ doesn't listen to her. Then this woman takes him with her. She was behaving with him as if he is a scared little boy, and left the door open. Taking advantage of this, Tess now runs away from here. That woman was following her, but she comes out of that secret basement and tries to break the window from the other basement and tries to get out. So the same homeless man helps her, who stopped her from going to this house for the first time. When Tess tells that homeless man about that woman, then that homeless man says, I know everything. If you want to save yourself, then go far away from here. Otherwise, that woman will keep you with her for the rest of your life. But Tess tells him that someone else is trapped inside, who needs my help. Now that man says, see what you have to do. But to escape from that woman at night, because she comes out at night. Now Tess runs away from there and reaches a gas station and calls the police. On the other side we see AJ, who escaped from that woman and came to the secret room. There he also sees a lot of clothes, one of which was the dress of that lady, which we saw. That Frank went to his house and opened the window. AJ sees a lot of videotapes, on which the names of different girls were written. There we also see old Frank, who was still alive, and was living in the same basement. Frank asks that actor boy for water. Now when this boy runs a videotape, here we find out. We saw the room. There Frank used to bring the girls, and used to treat them badly, and used to make their videos. And along with that he used to kidnap a lot of girls, and used to keep them locked in the cage. When AJ sees all this in the video, he was feeling very bad. He thinks that how can a man do such a bad thing? Now he sees this and says that I am also bad. I have also done wrong with a girl. Now Frank picks up the gun after seeing him. After seeing this AJ got scared. But Frank kills himself. But on the other side, police was not taking Tess's words seriously. They think that this girl is mad, and she is lying to us. Police goes away from here. Now Tess herself breaks the window of the house, and brings the keys of her car. When she starts to go from here, then that woman stands in front of her car, and tries to catch her. But Tess hits her with the car, and goes inside the basement to save AJ. Then he was also coming out, and with fear he shoots Frank's gun at Tess, thinking that she is the mad woman in front of him. He takes care of Tess and brings her out. Then that homeless man was also there, who had stopped Tess from going to this house. He takes her with him. Now he asks her, who is this woman? And what does she want from us? The woman is in this house for 40 years. But AJ says, how can this happen? This house is mine. That homeless man says, according to the papers, this house is yours. But that house really belongs to that woman's father, whose name is Frank. Here we come to know that this woman is no one else In fact, she was Frank's daughter. And Frank, who used to do anything with girls, he used to bring them here. This woman was a terrible example of his work, which was Frank's punishment. Because at that time Frank's daughter was a very young girl. And this punishment Frank got in the form of his daughter. After knowing all this, they were both very surprised. AJ tells Tess that I have to take you to the hospital. But that man says not now. That mad and terrible woman must be roaming everywhere. But she will not come here. But suddenly that woman comes there too. And kills this man. They escaped from that woman and climbed on the tower. But mistakenly gun falls down from the AJ hands. Now as soon as this woman approaches them, AJ pushes Tess off the tower in an attempt to save himself. But that woman also jumps behind Tess. Because she was thinking of Tess as her daughter. But they both become unconscious. When AJ comes to them, he understands that she is dead. But Tess was still alive. That woman also comes alive. And kill him. And then she starts loving Tess. Seeing her, it seemed that a mother loves her small child. But somewhere that woman was telling Tess that she should kill her. Because whatever was happening with her today was the result of her dad Frank's bad deeds. Tess did not want to kill her. But she thinks that if she does not kill her, then her life will be even worse. That's why she shoots this woman. And then she leaves the town. And with this the movie story ends here.